talk about the main requirement in the private sector. As I coach my humanitarian clients in their transitioning to the private sector, I feel like there is a lot of confusion and complication about how to do that without addressing the main problem. Usually, my humanitarian clients are used to applying for jobs through the channels of whether they find it on LinkedIn or on other social media, whatever it is. They keep applying for jobs, they keep working on perfecting their CVs and cover letters, and they keep, like, some of the time sending maybe messages to people and connecting, but they don't really address the main problem of what is required for someone to be successful in that job application process, especially at the level that is not an entry level. And a lot of the times, the main requirement that they don't address, which is a specific tailor-made solution that you bring with your skill sets to the private sector that you're applying for, right? That's really the main requirement. Whatever the job entails, what they're really wanting you is to problem solve or solve that specific thing that will make the company profit and in a short period of time. That's really what they're looking for. Now, whichever the name it may have in the end, can you fix or solve that problem, whatever that specific problem is? And can you do it in a way that is done in a short period of time that makes the company a lot of money and ideally in a repeated way? Right? That's what we need to be solving. Now, in order to do that or meet that main requirement, we need to have several things happening. On the one hand, we need to know exactly what are the skill sets that's necessary to solve that problem. But more importantly, we need to understand what that specific problem is that we are able to solve better than anyone else. Now, in order to know what those specific problems are, obviously we need to hang out with the people who work in that company so that we are able to make that tailor-made solution to them based on whatever it is they're wanting. Now, we cannot do that by theorizing, obviously. We cannot do that by perfecting CVs and cover letters. We cannot do that by studying another course. In fact, I was coaching a client recently in the group, and she said that the person she was networking was in the banking system. They said, "Oh my God, you have too many certificates that we don't even know what that means." And that's exactly what happens, is that we tend to keep solving the wrong problems in the job application process, believing that that's what's required. But if we start thinking from the perspective of, okay, what are the main problems or what are the specific problems that this company that I want to work for is wanting to solve, and can I, and if so, how can I solve them, and how can I present that solution to them, whether in my networking event or in any other way that I meet them, that's what we need to work on. And the more we understand about that company specifically, the more we understand the insides of what's going on and what are the problems that we could be great to solving, and what skills and how we articulate that solution that does not cost them much but brings a lot of profit and reputation or whatever it is that they're looking for in a repeated way, in a long-term way possibly, then we're golden. Right? I have even heard recently several companies that I follow talk about how they no longer want to hire for experience because there are a lot of people who have amazing experience, but they're hiring for characters or personality or attitude, right? So that's why whatever the solution that we're bringing, we need to have it in the attitude that they really want to work with you. So that's why we need to have those elements, right? The at least two elements. One is what is the specific problems that the company is wanting to solve at that level that we want to apply for. And the other is what skill set, who we are, what attitudes that we bring, that we would be a great fit to that culture, to that environment where we're solving that problem. And then once we have those two things very specifically figured it out, then we can start testing our theory in practice by talking to as many people as possible, especially people at the decision-making level, so that we see if the solution that we're proposing is what they're looking for, they want to buy, or they want to hire you for. And the more we find out in practice how that is, the more we have information about what works and what doesn't. So that's why when some of my clients tell me that, oh, in order to transition to the private sector, I'm taking course on project management, for instance, right? And it doesn't even matter what the course is about. If we haven't talked to the private sector people in that specific company, in that industry, if we haven't understood what is the specific things that they're wanting to solve and what course possibly is needed, why do that? So that's why I really want people, especially my amazing humanitarians, when they are thinking about like solving things when they transition to the private sector, I really would like for you to have come up with a specific, tangible problems you need to be solving instead of going for the least resistance things or least scary things because you're just so afraid otherwise to go and do the most scary things, right? So that's why, if anything, I could encourage you, go and do the most scary and most resistant invoking activity first, and then go do the rest. Right? So in my group coaching for transitioning humanitarians who want to transition to the private sector, this is really what I'm insisting. This is really what I'm going for. I'm saying, okay, we need to simulate as much as possible, but also we need to go and test in the real world whether the solutions that we came up with is going to work for that company. Right? So that's why we need to go really understand what are the specific problems we're solving and what are the specific skill sets that you have that you can propose a solution to them and find out if they're willing to buy that solution. And the more we can learn about how that's going to work, the more information we have as to what makes it successful. And that will be very scary, or that will feel very scary. That will feel like we don't know how to do it. That will feel like confusing. That will feel like, oh my God, let me just go and perfect my CV and cover letter instead of actually going and doing it. That will feel that way. And it's normal. We all go through it. But if we're not really tackling the main requirement, everything else is not really moving the needle, right? So that's why whether you come and work with me or not, I really would love for you to, like, if you're transitioning to the private sector, I would like whatever this industry that you're going for, whatever the company you're going for, really start understanding what are the specific problems that you could be great at solving. Maybe there are several, maybe there is one. And what are the skill sets that you have that would allow you to solve that? And then go and talk to the people in the company, in that industry, to peers, to decision makers, to board members, whoever they are. Talk as much as possible about how your solution could be a solution, to see what their reactions are and how they're whether they're willing to buy it or not. And by buying it, I mean hiring you and spending the salary for you so that you can provide that solution, right? Without solving that part, everything else becomes a bit of a secondary thing. And again, as I said, we're talking about the usually mid-level careers in the private sector, because the entry level could be a different story. So whatever the tasks that you have outlined for yourself to solve in your transitioning to the private sector, ask yourself, what is the main requirement that they are asking of the applicant or of the candidate? What is the main requirement they're asking? Or what is the main problem they're wanting this candidate to solve in that job? And find out from insiders of the company if that is true and how that's true, more information about it, about that problem, about what the job will entail and how you could solve that, and then start finding all of your own reasons and skill sets that would help you solve it, and then start going and actually proposing that solution to them. And the more you do that, the more you start also seeing their reaction to how you're proposing the solution. What are the things you're saying? What are the things you shouldn't be saying? What are the things they're really into buying? And what are the things that stop them from buying? The more you start understand it, the more you get skillful at networking, at selling, and at negotiating, and you increase your chances of getting hired at the level that you would like to. So main requirement is what needs to be solved. Everything else is a secondary thing. Okay, so whenever you notice yourself working on secondary things, this is what happens also, by the way, when I coach my entrepreneur clients, humanitarians who became entrepreneurs. I see them all the time starting by saying, oh, I need to work on my website. I need to work on my logo. I need to work on I don't know, logo for my social media, whatever it is. And then they don't do the main thing. And the main thing is talking to potential clients, right? In the entrepreneurial journey, talking to potential clients is the main thing. Everything else, of course, you need to market and you need to sell and you need to deliver all of those important parts. But the main thing that you need to be doing, especially in the beginning, is talking to potential clients and finding out about what you're offering works or does not work. And in the private sector, as you transition to the private sector, it has a similar logic. The main requirement is you are supposed to be solving a particular problem that does not cost them much but makes a lot of money, and ideally on a repeat. And if you're able to do that, then you're golden. Okay, so if you would like to work with me on this to find out what the main requirement is and to perfect your solution rather than perfecting your CV and cover letter, even though those are important and we'll work on them. If you would like to get really clear as to how you can solve that problem for that company that you are searching for or wanting to be hired, then come to my group coaching. We're working on all of this together and with a group of amazing humanitarians, up to 10 people max. And we're starting on 14th of January. So until then, I'm also giving some individual sessions free of charge in addition to this group coaching, so that you can really start working on this with me before even we start the group. And then you start really dedicating in the group to simulations and practicing how to propose your solutions. Okay, majors. If that is you, then you know what to do, how to book a call to talk to me and work with me next year, 2026, on how to get hired at the level that you would like with solutions that you feel confident about proposing to the private sector.